Hey everyone, if you tuned into the last video, I showed you how to set up your project. In this video here, I'm going to show you how to apply paint to your boards. I'm going to go through the process of taking the paint out of the containers and applying it to our newspaper palette. And I'll speed up through some of the mixing and painting scenes so you can see what this project will look like as a final outcome. I'm going to start by grabbing a clean brush. I'm just taking the water off with my hands because there wasn't a lot of water. And I'm going to start by scooping out red using my primary colors. I got a nice pile there, and I'm going to go ahead and rinse that brush out really well. The water is going to change red, but it'll be okay. I'll be able to still use it. Same thing, just blotting off some of the water. I'm going to scoop out a good amount of blue and roll that right onto my palette. Just going for a little bit more there. I want good piles of paint just to make sure that I, have enough out. I am getting a little paint on my hands, and that's okay. That's why I have my paper towel handy. And I did spill a little bit of yellow, and that's also okay. Just going to rinse my hands really quick, just wipe off the wet paint. And for this one, I'm just going to pour it out, just because the yellow paint is really fluid, so it'll come right out of that container very easily. So I don't even need a brush for that. I'm going to make sure those are all closed really well, and I'm going to put them away. I just flipped my palette so the paints would be at the top instead of along the side because I kept bumping my hands into them. I'm going to add some white to my palette, and then I'm going to clean those brushes off and add some black. Always making sure those lids are closed really tight so the paint doesn't leak all over my plastic bag. Same thing, I'm going to scoop out a good amount of black, not too much. Black is a color we don't use a lot of because it's so saturated and pigmented, so we only use little bits at a time. I can always add more, it's just harder to put the paint back in the container, so I always try to preserve what I have. I'm going to go right ahead here and start mixing a secondary color. I'm going to mix green from my primary colors. So I'm taking a little bit of yellow and a little bit of blue in two separate piles. And then you'll see I'll combine my blue into my yellow to make green. Just blotting off my brush a little bit. There you go. And I'm going ahead to mix. I'm using a circular motion, and I'm picking the paint up and slamming it back down on the palette in order to mix those colors together. I like to mix a lot of colors before I start painting, but that's totally your preference. You could go ahead and put this on your palette right now. I'm going to go ahead and mix, I believe, an orange right now. Same thing, making two nice piles of paint that I could constantly dip back into or use to make other colors, and you'll see that happen later on in this video. And then I'm going to go ahead and make my violet. Remember, in this project, we are going to have each one of your little triangles is going to be a primary color and a secondary color. We're going to practice mixing those. So that is part of the project. So you should have, all those colors on there. Like one section will be red, one will be blue, one will be yellow, and then one will be green, orange, and violet. Making sure you're hitting all those colors and learning how to mix them. And then from there, you can just choose whatever color palette you'd like. So I'm just labeling mine. That's what I'm doing in this video. And I'm picking up my smaller brush, and I am going for it. I'm just starting to paint. Our yellow paint is very translucent, so you do have to do multiple coats. I apologize for my head. I'm very focused. But, yep, there you go. I have red, yellow, blue. I'm going to just go to the green there, and then orange. I'm placing them wherever. You can strategically place them if you want. And that's violet. So I just have to put red on there. Just doing another quick coat of yellow before I go on. And here's my red square. So now I have all my primary and secondary colors, and I can mix whatever colors I want from here. And I'm just doing my best to keep the lines nice and straight and clean. I'm going to mix like a periwinkle lilac purple kind of color here. So I added a little bit of white and a little more blue. And gave me like a darker purple. I'm going to mix more of like a yellow orange now. A little more on the yellow side. And I'm applying that next to my orange square. And like a lighter green, so like a mint kind of green color. I'm adding a little bit of white to our green color. I'm going to mix a really light blue And these are all colors that I just came up with as I was going along. Nothing really was too planned out. So I'm just adding those colors as I feel like I need them. The beauty of this project is that it allows you to mix and kind of explore colors. So that's really how I took this. And I went through and kind of just put colors together. Like the bottom palette that's on the bottom of my palette, like that light purple is really pretty. I just refreshed my palette, poured a little more paint, and I'm just remixing some colors, giving second coats to other colors that need them. Like I said, each square needs at least 2 coats, and this paint dries so quickly that you can definitely get this done within when you have the paint on your palette. This whole project took me about 45 minutes, so just so you guys have an idea, obviously the video is sped up, but it should take you at least 1 to 2 class periods to get all the paint down on your palette. A little bit more than that, just because with the time we have now, we're going to kind of speed up, we're going to take a little bit longer just to get ready. And here I am just filling it in, finishing it up, getting the last squares in there. And that's the final product. So if you look, you have your primary and secondary colors in there. There's a red square, yellow square, and blue square. There's also a violet, orange, and green square as well. And then different tones and different colors of each square. I think this is a really great first project. This is a really great first step into the painting world. And I can't wait to make more projects with you and for you guys to build your confidence as painters.